Hey buddies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. Today we're looking at a Midsummer Night. Now this is a Time Stories Revolution game. If you're watching this as a short over on YouTube, make sure you watch the full video. So you can support the channel via Patreon. There are occasionally competitions via Linktree in the description. You can also mention any notes as well. So we'll not be opening this box, but I do have some stuff I can show you which is spoiler free, just because there's some other stuff in here too. So inside the box you will find some tokens. There are crystals. We're going back in time, and crucially we're going to a Midsummer Night, and what we're looking to do is have a certain mystery, a certain mission that we're looking to achieve. Everybody is going to take a receptacle, basically a character that we are going to represent. So you can pick between one of 4 characters, and there's some information on the back. You might be cunning, you might be good with words, you might be strong, and the starting crystals. Starting crystals are to do with actually how well you can interact with things, and I'll show you how that works in a second. So I happened to play as Laverina last time, the brave dryad. So I'll take this character and I'll show you how it works. Again, playing as a 2, you have 1 character each. You can have 2 characters playing it solo. You can play again 3 and 4 players as well. So I'm making note of this out of the way for the time being, and basically set up the prologue. So this is spoiler free, as I mentioned, and like I said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because I'm going to be doing another video for another Time Stories game. And whilst I'm setting up the original Time Stories, I've played a few of those. I played 3 of those cases, and I give the game an 8 out of 10. So here we go. This is the new, this is called the blue cycle. The original was called white cycle. This is the blue cycle, and the fact there's a similar amount of games in this one as well. So you've got various tokens, various things you can use. Make sure you have these face down. It's not a major issue. You can have a key as well. You can have some power tokens. So depending on the number of players, again, flipping this over, you can see here that I start off with 5 in a 2-player game. If you're playing as a 4, you're going to have 3. If you're playing as a 3-player game, you're going to have 4 of these power tokens. So make sure you've got the right amounts of those. You're going to have a deck of mystery cards. Leave those to one side. Of course, you'll be using them at some point. You're also going to have other things too, so you know, various locations, so if I would separate them out as well, starting with an A card, so let's just leave those off to the side as well. And again, we've got this character, so I might leave this off to the side as well, but let's do it like this. You're also going to take some other cards as well, so this is representing basically how you start off, and you're going to have some abilities as well. So what you're going to do is, you're going to have various cards out which are going to come into play. So you're going to have those revealed. Other cards, which are interaction cards, which are going to happen as and when you're going to be playing the game. So this character starts with 6 crystals, and what we're looking to do is basically go out and do stuff. Now, sometimes, especially in this prologue, you don't have to worry about that. But what you'll be doing is sometimes fighting monsters. So you're chucking on some tokens here. Sometimes you're going to be revealing a destiny card. It's basically how much you could be winning or losing a battle. So there's 5 or 6 of these cards, and what they're going to have is values. So various different values. In the game Gloomhaven, you might have seen my Jaws the Line video. This is similar, whereby if you hit +3, you're going to shuffle and go again. So this is basically a modifier deck. So as and when you are looking to do some damage, you are looking to, again, trying to keep it spoiler free as possible. You're going to look at the various colour. So it could be purple, it could be orange, it could be red. So this character is quite strong. So if it happens to be a red encounter, there'll be a number saying how difficult it might be. The higher number, the worse difficulty it will be. You can firstly chuck in a crystal to increase your and boost your strength, in this case to 5, and then you can reveal one of these cards. Now, they'll have, like I said, a value, say 4. So if there was a 4, I'm adding mine to a 5. I've got a 0, so I did it. Now, sometimes there'll be an equals to, so you're going to have to get something equal to that value. Sometimes you're going to get more than, and sometimes there's usually a penalty if you go lower than that as well. So what's going to happen? Well, you're going to explore various locations, various maps. And as you go out, you're going to have to decide, okay, well, do we want to go to another location? And if you do, you need to spend one of your crystals. Now, as you run out of crystals, what's going to happen is what's called the in-between phase. That means all these crystals get spent into the vortex. And then what's going to happen is each round, you are going to have what's known as basically a mission return. This is basically saying how many times did you need to return back to base, basically, to recharge and go back out again, using, very much like in Quantum Leap, this kind of receptacle, this person that you're looking to do. In which case, what you're going to do is chuck one of those cubes, one of these crystals, these Azrak crystals out, and the more that time you have to spend trying to find stuff out, the worse your score is going to be. Okay, so apart from that, this again is a cooperative game. Again, it's a 1 to 4 player game. I would say it's best as a 2. As with all the Time Stories games, they're significantly longer. You're adding another 50% on per player. It is a 3-hour game, and it does take 3 hours as a 2, but it does take, in a different Time Stories, it took 6 hours as a 4 and 4.5 hours as a 3. So sometimes you'll find items, so you can look through the item deck as well, and sometimes you can be equipped with them. Certain things might require certain extra abilities, and you can tuck things into the side of the old box. And on the round, there are 3 phases broken into 3 sections as well. The first thing you're going to do is choose a location. You're going to display that location by revealing out the cards, and then you're going to read card A. So you're going to read the first card here, and then you go into the discovery phase, which is basically each person is going to pick one of these location cards. They're called story cards, and then you're going to read it to yourself, and then place the card down and basically talk about what you've seen. You could say exact words, but if I were you, I'd talk more vaguely. I recommend, and it does talk about this, writing notes down as well. But again, you can't write exact stuff. You can't take photographs of where you've been. And lastly, what you're going to do is actions. This is where you're going to basically interacting. Is something whereby you might want to do something, or maybe you must do something. You must read a card and stuff like that. So what's going to happen in the game? Well, there's a key that you can trigger. Once you've got that key, you can reveal this. There's this moon, which again, you can look at as and when you've done that. And again, you've got to figure out what that mission is to, of course, win the game. So we spoke about this briefly, about the in-between location phase. So now you can do an update, which means you can actually swap stuff around. You can also then decide if you want to stay in this location or go somewhere else. Again, you're going to have to pay a crystal. And then you're going to change the time captain. So if I started, it's going to go to someone else. They can pick where we go, or they can resolve any kind of ties and stuff like that. So what do I think of the game? Well, it's very enjoyable. It's a good theme going on here. It's a bit convoluted at times, and this is a game where you have to have an element of memory. So you go, oh, do I need to go back to this place? Oh, I do. Okay, I need to go somewhere else and maybe come back here to do something different. There's those kind of things to it that you have to be aware of. The cards are very slippery. They're quite small as well. These ones are very fiddly, to be honest. And like I said, being not just slippery, but they're very quite square-edged, which is a shame because this day and age you shouldn't have them that square. I mean, there's an ever so slight curve to them, but that's about it. The rule book isn't great, considering a sort of well-known person is behind the rule book's editing of this, and actually had issues in their rule books before. Don't worry, I won't criticise them directly, but you can always sort of check this out. And there's a couple, if maybe only one typo as well in how things are defined. So that is a shame. I wish they had more figures and more examples and pointed things out better. So that's a bit of a pity. There's no baggies, so everything just gets thrown around in the box annoyingly, which is a real disappointment. These Destiny cards are fine. Again, it's a bit of a push your luck element too, so that's effective. I am looking forward to again bringing you a video for a different game again in this Time Stories Blue Cycle series, and we might even be playing it again. So definitely, I know the fact the owner of this game said a family in particular would really like this, so I can definitely see that being effective. This is a game where you can't even reset compared to the other Time Stories, so there is a factor there too. So what's my rating? Well, the original I may have mentioned I gave an 8 out of 10 to. This one is lower. I would give this a kind of, my average rating for all games is 6.3, and I would give that about a 6.3 as well. It's just because, again, these cards are a bit fiddly. I really enjoyed the board in the last one, in the original ones. I can see maybe they've lowered a price point here, and again, they've a lot smaller box. The text is really good. Very good stuff you can talk about here. And there's other missions, like I said, you can do as well. Again, different characters. I like the interaction. You can go through stuff as well. I don't know, one might say you can even game it a little bit too, but ultimately it has been a good immersive experience, and it was nice to play another co-op. So this is going in the co-op playlist, the AmassGames playlist, they had a setup play and review playlist, and of course that family weight playlist amongst others, including the mystery playlist. So any other questions, of course, let me know. But for now, back to the table.